Hi, my name is Matthew Stone, also known, strangely enough, as Crazy Daisy Do, which I won't go into the history of that name, but I'm a saxophonist, my hobby, and as you probably noticed, I've done quite a lot of YouTube video clips, and I get an awful lot of people asking me how I go about getting nice quality sound from my saxophone and video at the same time, and because I've answered the question so many times, I think it's probably best to show people so that you get an idea of how the setup works, so that if you want to do the same thing, you can go about doing it. There's nothing unusual in this setup. It's quite common in small budget sort of home studios, but I think it's important, really important, to clarify straight away. You cannot get the sound quality that I achieve. I'm not talking about quality of my playing, I'm talking about the quality of the sound, by using just a camcorder like the one I'm holding now to record your audio, because you simply can't get the level of processing and quality that you need to be able to do what I'm about to show you. So you need to spend some money, unfortunately, on the setup. You can't do it without it. So we've got a laptop here. Mine's a simple MacBook, not the best one available, medium range. You can also use a PC, obviously. I use a laptop because one particular thing is very useful for me, which is the built-in camera at the top on the Mac, which means I can video myself really easily. There we go. That means that I don't need to have to set up a camcorder like the one I'm holding. I used to, but this is much easier to do it this way. That's connected. Just one connection here, nothing else, though sometimes I obviously connect power. That's connected to what's called, it's at the back here, it's called an audio interface. Now, this is pretty much essential, although there is a workaround you can use, but this is pretty much essential. Don't think you'll get away by plugging a microphone into the microphone socket or any other socket on your laptop. It's simply not going to work very well. You need an audio interface. What this device does is basically talks to software on the computer. Now, it could be any software, any multi-track recording software. The most popular, GarageBand, which ships free with the MacBook. This one's Logic Express, which is excellent, but there's loads of others. Ableton, Cubase, there's literally hundreds. Pro Tools, another one. If you're using Pro Tools, you need a specific interface, but you'll know about that. That normally ships with it. So this is an Alesis device. It wasn't terribly expensive. I guess 120 quid, which is in dollars, $250, something like that. And this enables me to input up to 4 devices at any one time. So I could record, I think, from 4 things at the same time, but I only generally record from one thing. If you're going to buy a device like this, it's important to think of the future. My very first device was a multi-track hard disk recorder, which was great, but I could only input one thing at once, and it soon got very limiting if you want to record keyboards and you're constantly unplugging and replugging. So think about the future and try and buy the best one you can with the most inputs. You can never have too many. This one's really good because it has 2 headphone amplifiers built in, so you can route different audio signals to different headphones. Really useful if you're recording with someone else. It also has very high quality. That's what I really look for in this. Very high quality preamplifiers for the microphone, and proper XLR jacks to plug in my microphone here. And it has a thing called phantom power, which basically gives the microphone 48 volts that it needs to operate. And that's because I use a fairly decent quality microphone. This is a Rode NT2A. Sorry about all the model codes here, but this device here is a good quality, what's called a condenser microphone, ideal for recording vocals and things like saxophones and guitars, and it's a very versatile microphone. And this one has switchable patterns on it, so I can also create different sort of, not sound effects, but record in a different way. So I can record just from the front of the microphone, the front and the back, so I get more of a spatial feel if necessary. Although this room is very boxy, so it's not actually great. I tend to do what's called close miking, which is putting the microphone close to the bell of the saxophone, or actually it's about halfway up the horn normally, so that I record the instrument fairly dead. and I'll show you what I mean by dead in a minute. So onto the software itself. What I do here, just to explain very quickly, is I get the backing track, normally a Jamie Aebersold superb CDs. They come in books like this, Body and Soul, the latest one I did. I put the CD into the laptop. I then use the simple Finder function on the MacBook, and then drag and drop the track straight onto the software, straight onto this this viewing field here, which is I think it's called the Arrange field, and that gives me the one that's in green. There is the backing track, Body and Soul. And if I press play now, all you'll hear is the backing track.
3, 4.
Now, you'll notice I can hear that in the room because this audio interface, which works with this software, also has an output to my hi-fi, which is down there, and the speakers, which are up there, which speakers, stereo, obviously, which means I can hear what I'm recording, or what I've recorded, and what I'm playing on this software. However, what's really important is that when I'm recording my saxophone part over the top, which is, I did 2 different versions here, so when I'm recording my saxophone part over the top, what's really important to know is that I didn't listen to the backing track live, if you like. I listened to it through headphones. That's really important, because what we want to do is we want to make the recording of the saxophone completely isolated from the backing. And let me explain that. So if I mute the backing track and then turn on the audio track, you'll be able to hear my saxophone part on its own. What that means I can do is I can then alter using another little window here. This is the mixer window. All these software packages have similar type things. I can then alter the difference between the backing track and the audio and the saxophone track. Oh, that's 2 versions of the saxophone at the same time. So let me turn this one back off. So I can now turn down the saxophone part if it's too loud, or turn it up if it's too quiet. Or drop out the backing track altogether. And it also allows me to then put things like reverb effects and other things. So I turn it off, a bit noisy. So that's quite important. I add a very commonly used effect called reverb, and a little bit of compression as well, to even out the sound, to make sure it's not too loud or too quiet in other parts. And those 2 pieces of information are here. So for example, the reverb on that track there is easily controllable. I can control what the sort of sound effects I want, what room size I want it to sound like, and all other kind of things that really give it a professional feel. Now I'm nearly up for my 10 minutes, so I'll just wind this section down, and hopefully there'll be a part 2 to explain how I put the whole thing together.